Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Carry On Plays. I'm joined together with the two Jacks. That's Jack TB Taylor and the Fearful Fox. Now, I know that I said Taylor first, but don't get excited, Taylor, because all it means is your name is Jack and the other guy's name isn't Jack. So I said Jack first.
I think
right?
what we can prove here now that I am the more important person in this conversation, and I know you really wanted to do the talking bits. I'll let you do that because I am a merciful God.
Well, he's clearly got a rock on now, hasn't he? So,
Oh.
How did you know?
because your goofy face is staring at me.
Shut up.
Oh, well, that was weird.
Shut up, Carson.
Well, anyway, guys, we're going to try something new for me. I know it's going to be the coming week, see if it's actually popular. I don't know about the other guys. Is this going to be a permanent thing for you two?
I'd do it. Yeah, seems cool.
I would want this to, because with my extensive schedule of uploading, I have 2 empty days that I do not know how to fill. So yes, this was something that I will more than likely be including.
Well, because it seems like it take up a big chunk of what we do. So with the way I want to edit it, so it's on the fence whether or not it's thing. So if it's popular, then I will do it. But if not, then obviously not. So what is essentially, as you can tell from the title, which we don't know what it is yet, so don't spoil it for us. But this is a podcast.
Just before we start, we need to say spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Three
Yeah.
guys, one Skype call.
But we're gonna do a little podcast. So I think what we'll do this week is we're gonna talk about hey.
A remix.
We're gonna talk about dubstep. All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna actually talk about the new X-Men music. Music? Music? This is like the worst start to a new series ever. Oh my god.
That new X-Men song, have you heard it? It's called Cyclops.
Well, it's called what is it? X-Men Days of Future
Past. Yes.
Future of Days Fast.
Yeah. And so
Days past in the future.
I think we were watching it like a few hours ago. We were watching it. We won't see it today.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, like a week ago, depending on when we uploaded it. But yeah.
Yeah, well, we watched it on the 22nd, so it is the opening night. We got into the cinema at approximately 5:45, so we were relatively some of the first people in the world to watch it.
Well, no, because I mean, loads of people were there the day before.
No.
Well, anyway,
Some of the first Englishmen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't expect it, but it wasn't actually packed. It was busy, but it was. I was expecting a packed cinema, but I assume it's because it's been on all day.
Yeah, that's one of the things. When we first went in there and there was nobody there, I was like, right, what's going on here? Are we being punked? Is Thingy, whatever his name, Ashton Kutcher, just going to pop out of somewhere?
Wait, Ashton Kutcher just put. No, it's different. We're getting sidetracked.
I'm pretty sure he does punk, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does punked.
All right, just
But
give me a second.
I doubt Stockport Cineworld is some place of prestige for Ashton Kutcher.
Well, he's always there. Do you never see him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on the weekends. Well,
my fucking dreams.
So obviously, as Taylor said before, this is a massive spoiler. So if you don't want to be a spoiler, just add this video to your watch later and watch it when you've watched the film. Or if you don't care about spoilers, then just enjoy the spoiler.
Everyone
films.
dies.
Everyone dies.
Well, it's not Game of Thrones.
Even the.
Right, side note, Ashton Kutcher did host MTV's Punked.
That pedantic you had to find.
I had to Google it, it was going to annoy me.
Oh, of course. So, but I think to make it simple, what do you think all you guys would rate it? The new X-Men. Not Punked.
11 out of 10.
11 out of 10, alright. And I know you're a massive fan of the X-Men series. Oh, God!
What the fuck did you just do?
Magneto just broke into his house.
No, Marvel. If I can get my words out, the best part of Marvel to me, fuck Avengers, Captain America, Thor, everything is X-Men without a shadow of a doubt. Especially the original X-Men trilogy, not so much the Wolverine ones because I get bored of Wolverine and Hugh Jackman.
They're the same person, but continue.
Okay, but you still haven't seriously rated it.
Yeah, 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
It's not a serious rate.
Alright, well,
Fine, 10 out of 10. Jesus Christ.
Right, fine.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
That's because you're an asshole. There probably wasn't enough Wolverine for you.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because I'm not really a fan. Oh, no. Hang on. It's nothing like, it was a really good film. I'd definitely say it's the best X-Men film because I'm not really too big of a fan of the X-Men to begin with, and that's the only reason I don't give it a 10 out of 10. But the film was brilliant, and the biggest topic that we're going to talk about, obviously, is the fact that they fixed near enough everything wrong with the series.
That was a big thing in the cinema at the time. Me and you were both sat there like, they fixed it. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
for the first 20 minutes, they were still creating some minor problems until the end of the film.
Yeah.
But there is still maybe 1 or 2 points that they have maybe lacked on a little bit, where there are now more plot holes.
Well,
let's discuss the things they fixed.
Yeah, well, I think to start off, we'll start off with how they fixed everything, and it was really simple. But because it was like throughout an entire 2-3 hour film, it damn it, Magneto, it was a lot better. Like it didn't seem cheesy. It made sense because, as you can tell from the title, it's a Back to the Future kind of film, and it only without 88 miles per hour and whatnot, and so the fact at the end of the day, when everything's saved, everything that was X-Men film before this film never happened. So every cinema ticket you bought didn't mean shit, because the only person that can remember that is Wolverine. None of that happened to anyone else.
Zack Snyder pretty much just pressed a giant reset button.
Oh, doesn't he?
No, he still doesn't remember anything.
Yeah, between 1973, when it was set, and whenever, we'll just call it 2020, he doesn't remember that bit, because it wasn't that Wolverine at the time. It was a different Wolverine, and he just gets inserted straight back into the body, if you get what I mean.
Well, the girl out of Last of Us did say that he would remember what happens, but
the girl out of Last of Us?
It's Ellen Page, I think she's called. She doesn't.
Oh, what's her name?
Ellen Page, I think it is.
No, but in like the comic. Yeah, in the comic. What's the name?
I don't know.
You mean
we'll
Kitty
call her
Pryde?
the DeLorean for now on.
The DeLorean.
Yeah, because the DeLorean goes back in time.
Who are you talking about? You're talking about the
Shadowcat.
character name.
Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, Kitty Pryde. I just said Kitty Pryde.
Right,
sure.
Like when Wolverine sees is it Jean Grey? Is that person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you've watched the X-Men trilogy, you know that she goes, cuckoo and kills everyone.
She turns into Phoenix.
Yeah, there you go. And she's back to normal now, which is impossible, I believe, because she was murdered. So, he's shocked by that. Wolverine's shocked by that. So I think Wolverine remembers what happens, and when he asks Xavier, he's actually asking because he has no idea what happened in the new version of the history.
Of course, because the present Wolverine that we have now remembers everything.
Yeah,
because he's the one who's experienced it, whereas the Wolverine in the past hasn't yet.
Yeah. Right, I got myself really confused then.
But another thing is that Cyclops was there as well, so pretty much anyone who died in the original trilogy is back. The thing is, they didn't explain. There was no explanation as to why they were back. So my guess is something happened in the past that changed them, changed the course.
It has to have a correlation to Jean Grey not becoming the Phoenix, because that's what fucks everything up.
Well, I think it must be something to do with Magneto. He must have been swayed or something to stay away from it and not convert it to his cause.
Well,
go on.
In the original trilogy, Mystique was with Magneto, but in this, she sort of betrays him in a sense by taking his helmet off and letting Charles do all his mind tricky shit.
Yeah. Well, what was I going to say? Son of a bitch. Oh, damn it. No, awkward silence. No,
that's pretty much because, again, as I've said before, but this is the first time I'll be saying it here, is that they made the 3 X-Men films with the idea of nothing happening afterwards.
I don't even think when they made the first X-Men, I do not think they thought they could make a second and third. I thought they left it open in case, but I really don't think they actually expected it to get far.
It all started from Origins. Origins messed up the canon completely.
Yeah. But the thing that one of the other problems, which kind of made sense, but we're still kind of confused about, is Origins is set at a reasonably same time as Days of Future Past.
It's set after I was discussing this with Colin, and
it's Gaming. Go subscribe.
Yeah, and I was discussing how come he has his bone claws back then, but his adamantium ones in the future, in quote unquote, and that's because it was just after the Vietnam War, Days of Future Past, and Wolverine's transformation happened after that, because the reason why he was imprisoned and forced into the Project X program was his affiliation with Vietnam.
But then the other thing that was still made no sense is the fact that in this, Stryker's like 20, but in Origins, which technically never happened because of the whole future past never happened bullshit, Stryker's 50 or 60, so well 50. So what happened there?
Yeah, here's my problem with that is that they seem to reference and keep Origins within the universe, but they're also trying to write it off, and it's not working because if any of you haven't noticed, in the original trilogy of X-Men, there's a sort of middle-aged actor playing Stryker, and then in Origins it's a completely different guy, and now in this one, Days of Future Past, it's a really young Stryker, but in this film they had a flashback to the original Stryker in the original trilogy, so they are writing off the Stryker that was in Origins, but also keeping Origins still part of the universe, which makes no sense.
I understand them changing the actor from the trilogy to Origins because that might be to do with the old actor didn't want to be in Origins. That makes perfect sense, or he couldn't be in it for whatever reason. But then I understand the point. Why the hell is he now 20 years old? That still doesn't make any... At the very least, if they couldn't get that old actor, which they clearly could have because they got a reference to him, they should have used someone else, like someone of the same age. But yeah, they were the only problem. Like, luckily, the problems with the film were minor. Besides the fact that at the very end of the film, and I'm sure when you go to see the film, you'll notice this, Magneto leaves in possibly the gayest way ever.
No, I'd say it was the greatest way ever. Haters gonna hate. That was a great exit.
Of course, everyone knows that Magneto can do move metal shit. So obviously, he's probably got metal in his armor or clothes or something, so which gives him the ability to fly. So that means because he moves the metal on him or in him or whatever, he can choose whichever shape he wants to fly. Like he could just be in a straight line or sat down or whatever. But instead, he aims his hands out like he doesn't give a fuck, and then just hovers away into the distance. And it's the worst way a villain could leave.
Yeah, it was really just sort of like, you could tell it was there. It wasn't supposed to be taken. It was supposed to be taken seriously. Him going, oh yeah, I'm going now. I'm not sticking around for this shit. Yeah, but it was just there was so much comedic value.
It's pretty much going to become a GIF. It's going to be a future a reaction GIF or something like that.
This is coming from, you're hearing it from this podcast first. Within the next year, you will see that appear as a meme, a meme, or a GIF.
Meme. But one of the things that I really like the thought of is when you see Logan getting pulled out of the river, and you see the young Stryker there, and then he says, oh, I'll take him with me.
Yeah.
And then his eyes change, so you know it to the yellow colour of Mystique. So you know that Stryker is Mystique. What I want to see is to me, what that said was Mystique is basically going to follow the path that Stryker did, in the sense of giving Logan his adamantium skeletal structure.
Yeah.
Which I thought would be a good thing to see, that they're sort of keeping the
story.
It's like
Logan's backstory.
Yeah, it's like they've tried to keep Stryker, like you said before, they've tried to keep Stryker in, but they don't. They have two actors that are playing Stryker.
Yeah, and they've got two different scenarios of Project X as well. But it seems like the veering off towards the original trilogy backstory with the Project X rather than the Origins one. But they've still got elements of Origins within it, like references to Deadpool.
Which is weird. They call him Jason. Wait, it was Jason.
It was Jason.
His name's now. I'm not too sure on Deadpool's lore, but I think Wade Wilson.
Wade Wilson is his name. Yes.
I think that's his chosen name because I think because when he goes to that mutation thing, I think he forgets and chooses that name. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But I feel like his real name might be Jason.
Yeah, but again, we've got to remember that this is dead Deadpool. This is Ryan Reynolds.
Which this
Origins
is another thing
Deadpool,
we always want to say. We all want, well, at least I want Ryan Reynolds to be Deadpool. He was a good Deadpool besides the fucking swords coming out of his wrist thing. But
he was a good Deadpool before he had his mouth shut.
Yeah. Well, I don't get.
I mean,
it's called Merc with the mouth.
Did they forget that tagline?
Is it Merc with a
Merc with the mouth? Merc with the bald head and doesn't speak.
Did you, right? I was just doing some sort of like background research on Stryker here, but in X-Men 2 as well, they had Stryker in that.
Yeah, they had him, and they also had, funny enough,
He was played by Brian Cox.
Mystique was pretending to be Stryker in that film as well. And I don't know, in that film, Stryker actually dies by Mystique or something like that. Someone kills Stryker, I think, in the original trilogy.
Doesn't Stryker die in Origins, or am I wrong?
No, the military find him in a between credits scene.
Yeah. Wait, hang on a minute. That's another hole in the story I've never thought about. She makes him walk forever, doesn't she? He can't stop walking. How did he make him stop walking?
Until his feet bleed. So I'm guessing his feet were bleeding, and then they break the spell by.
I thought she said keep walking until your feet bleed, and then walk some more or something like that.
I'm guessing, yeah, that was until all the people came and broke the spell.
I guess they could have like broke his legs or something.
Yeah.
But coming over to the next point, Deadpool. I am so glad they did this because they now can do a Deadpool without having to go, oh yeah, we ruined it with Origins. They don't have to reference that because technically now X-Men's in a slightly alternate universe where none of that shit happened. So now Deadpool can be reborn again, which
that's good.
They briefly did in Thingy by saying, oh, he's 10 years old now. Can you believe it? So which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I'm glad that they're going to redo that.
Before they did reset the whole thing, an issue I brought up was, I said this earlier on in the podcast, but that's the fact that Wolverine in the past has his bone claws, which is perfectly alright, that was explained. But why does he have his adamantium claws in the future that was then rewritten? Because the Wolverine, which was the film before Days of Future Past, is a direct prequel or whatever to this film.
Yeah.
And in that, Wolverine loses his adamantium skeleton. Or just on his claws, I don't know, but he loses it, and we see him in the airport in the post-credit scene with his bone claws.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a direct sequel because Wolverine, I believe, that's the name of the film, is set in 2013 when it came out.
Yeah.
I don't think Days of Future Past is set in the present in 2014.
Yeah, I know.
It's always referred to as the future.
It's obviously in the future.
I'd assume, like, say 2020, let's just say that, for example. That's a good 7 years.
Yeah.
I could imagine something going along those lines where they could do it. I mean, also, you have to consider the fact that they can go back in time.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying... They probably didn't because they're not referenced it in the film. But, I mean, they could have gone back in time and failed, but this time he's got claws or some shit, I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Go on, carry on, sorry.
Yeah. I think the summary that we can get from this at the moment is they filled up all the plot holes they previously had, but they've left questions unanswered.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's bad that they've left questions unanswered because it gives room for more exploration, but it's just questions unanswered. It's not necessarily bad plot holes.
It makes us talk about it, but not in a bad way like it did with the whole fucking bullshit trilogy.
Yeah, like...
Right.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, going back to a previous point about Wade Wilson, who is in X-Men... His Origins, yeah.
Origins.
Yeah.
He isn't Stryker's son, as we previously thought.
Yeah, I said that. That's why I was confused as to why you
Stryker's son is called Jason, and he is in the first and second X-Men films. He's not in the third one because he dies, but Wade Wilson has no affiliation apart from the fact that William Stryker, who's normal Stryker, is his boss. That's the only thing that they have in common. So I was just reading into it.
So who is Deadpool at the end of Origins then? Because
at the end of Origins, Deadpool is still Deadpool doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, it's still Wade Wilson, but he's known as Weapon.
Oh yeah,
6.
it is Wade. Yeah,
is it?
No, he's known as Weapon 11.
Yeah, but I think in this, I think we have to consider Origins now as a separate universe because
that's what I'm saying.
Deadpool isn't. I don't think Deadpool is ever Wade Wilson. No, it is Wade Wilson.
Yeah, it is Wade Wilson. Yeah,
in Origins and Origins only, Wade Wilson is his son, which is really dumb.
No, I think we've just confused that because of that whole Jason Stryker thing.
No. In Origins, I do remember this one thing. I do remember.
No, his son was a mutant. His son had a certain power,
Jason Stryker, who is his son. He had a power which was here we go. Just hang on 1 second. A mutant power with the power to generate complex telepathic illusions. That's what his power was.
Okay, I think that.
He is in Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
Who?
Jason was one of the mutants in containment at his father's mutant research facility.
Yeah, that's Deadpool.
No, it's not. Deadpool is Wade Wilson because they directly, Stryker directly refers to Deadpool as Wade, and where the scene where we first are, Deadpool is revealed in Origins when the giant gates part and he comes walking out. Wolverine directly says, "Oh Wade, they've managed to finally shut you up."
Yeah,
he has the mouth stitched. So it is Wade Wilson who's been merged into this thing, but the whole Jason Stryker thing is part of his power is within Deadpool.
Yeah, right. See, now I kind of like the Deadpool. The only thing they actually ruined was the dumb fucking swords coming out of his wrist.
The whole problem was that they called him Deadpool because they pulled all of the powers of dead mutants into him, which was stupid because Deadpool does not have all the different powers of all the different mutants.
By the time he gets all those powers, though, he's referred to as Weapon 11, who's still alive.
Also,
the only reference to the actual name Deadpool is they said we call it the Deadpool.
Also, to be fair, he is experimental. He gets his powers from other mutants that they do put on him. That's in the comics. So Deadpool would make a logical sense for him to be called that based on why they did it in the film as well.
Yeah, his name is logical, but I'm just saying the powers he had in the film were stupid.
Powers. Is it what's the name of the guy who plays Wolverine? My mind's gone.
Hugh Jackman.
All I say is Logan, but Hugh Jackman has said, and I adore. I think he's one of the best actors in superheroes films, and he said that he wants Wolverine and Deadpool to be in another film. That is great. I want them to meet up. I want them to have a Deadpool versus Wolverine fight.
That's possible because isn't the whole comic book lore of the two? Aren't they supposed to be like buddies or something at times? Wolverine doesn't like Deadpool, but Deadpool likes Wolverine.
Yeah. Wolverine. In the comics anyway, Wolverine doesn't really like anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, he hates Spider-Man and whatnot, but
some behind-the-scenes trivia that I've just read that Deadpool was supposed to have a cameo in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but his role grew larger after Ryan Reynolds was cast. I don't understand that. What do you mean?
That means that he was only supposed to be a cameo, but then turned out to be Ryan Reynolds.
I think they cast him as Ryan Reynolds, and then either because they really liked Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, or he was expensive, so they might as well get more time out of him.
Yeah, he suits it well with the fact that Ryan Reynolds himself, the only way he can act is by acting cocky.
I can't think of a better actor than Ryan Reynolds to play Deadpool because he's fit as in muscular and whatnot. Yeah, not as in the gay way. And
no offense to gay people.
Yeah, of course.
Like I get to throw that out
there. And he is snarky and cocky in that, which is really it rubs off well on him. So he fits Deadpool very well, but it's just they ruined him in Origins. And the mouth thing I didn't mind when it was put together because I thought shit that's a horrifying thing. He was experimental like in the comics. But what annoyed me was the fact that at the very end of the end credit scene where you see his head roll, he's still fucked. It's they should have shown properly that his mouth wasn't covered.
Well, I think that was just to show that he has he can't die.
Yeah.
Which is Deadpool's stick.
I think it was Taylor that said
this. There we go.
Didn't he say that the next Deadpool, if they are making a Deadpool, will be an origin story? They're restarting it.
Yeah.
That was something that I read, but I'm not too sure about that now.
I heard that they're completely restarting it. So that's my theory on that. They're trying to write off Origins, but it's still not working.
Just had some sort of connection issue.
Well,
that was fun.
Oh no!
What happened to you then?
I don't know, but let's continue.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I want to bring up just before I forget is, damn it! I forgot. Son of a bitch.
We were talking about the Deadpool spin-off. Though I did do a quick Google search then. It is now in development. The Deadpool. It's a spin-off of the X-Men franchise. The movie won't have anything to do with X-Men.
Yeah.
So it's completely separate, I would think, at the moment.
So pretty much, Days of Future Past was a giant reset button.
See, the thing I think is though, people might hate this film. It is. I think it's one of the best X-Men I've seen. But I think people can hate it because at the end of the day, what the film said, it was 2 hours to say every single film you've watched that's X-Men never happened.
Yeah, I can see critics panning it.
I can see they'd either have to restart the X-Men series or do that. I can't imagine doing it any other way to fix the problems in it.
I think what the producers saw at this point was that we've got too many plot holes here. We need to do something to sort of, like revamp the IP.
Yeah, reset it, but make it a logical reset.
Yeah, make it interesting and
not like it was all in Charles's mind.
Well, I do. Yeah,
really annoying.
Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, I do think it could get negative reviews, but at the same sense, I think it could get amazing reviews because it's definitely one of the best X-Men. Yeah. Has anyone else got anything to add about the X-Men?
Well, I'm gonna just say one last thing about the Deadpool movie. Something that I was reading that I thought was quite a funny thing to have it. With the Deadpool film, what they've so far, what they've basically said is it's not going to have anything to do with X-Men Origins, except there's going to be a point where Deadpool says that he doesn't like how he's being portrayed in the film Deadpool, in X-Men as Deadpool. So it's going to be like, I don't know what the word is.
That's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, practically.
I know it's not in the same universe; it's a spin-off, but it's still breaking.
That's what it needs to be a good film. It needs to have the fourth wall breaks, the two voices in his head.
It was like when they said they were making a Deadpool game. I was worried they were going to fuck up, and they really didn't. They really made it.
I actually liked it. I enjoyed the Deadpool game.
I want that, but on a film. That is a good game.
Another thing is that they must have already started filming for this, or at least got the script together already, because there is a thing here that says in January 2012, they created a 3-minute test reel, which they used to convince the heads of the studio to move forward with the movie. Because like with the majority of us, when Deadpool first started getting big, no one was too sure how they were gonna play it off. Like you said with the game, nobody knew if it was gonna be crap. But yeah, I'm excited.
Well, I think something we haven't touched upon, because we've discussed the plot holes, how they fixed them, and what we liked about those changes. But we've not really said what we liked about the film itself on a whole. I for one, I'm a huge Wolverine fan. He's like my favourite superhero. But I enjoyed that it wasn't a Wolverine-centric film.
Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah, I like the backstory of Xavier when he's known to everyone as Charles. I think it's really interesting, like with his drug addiction sort of thing, the concept they have mixed in there. And fighting his own battles and these demons.
I really enjoyed it.
Just to clarify, the drug addiction thing, it's a serum that Beast created to stop what happened in First Class, which was Xavier's when he got paralyzed. When Magneto deflected the bullet into him, which explains how in this film he can walk.
Yeah, which I was glad, because when we saw it in the trailers, I remember we all had a good laugh over the fact that why the fuck can he walk? But it makes sense.
It's like, a good thing with that is, it shows how he's maturing as a character, because they touch on it in the film when Magneto says to him, you gave up your powers to walk, because that's what happens. He has the ability to walk, but all of his powers and senses are nil and void at that point, so he can't read minds, he can't interact with everyone. Yeah. So it shows that his acceptance that he can no longer walk and he needs his power for the greater good. Yeah. That he is maturing in a sense and he's willing to take on the wheelchair.
Yeah. It was definitely one of the more darker Marvel films, and another a very touching Marvel film as well, because it had a lot of reconciliation and a lot of forgiveness in it as well.
I do love the fact that it showed him at his weakest point, because in every other X-Men film, he's been he's a well-rounded man. You know, he's been a good person.
He's the guy that convinces people to do things.
Yeah, he's the glue of the X-Men. But in this, he is the weakest point of the X-Men, and I thought that was a really cool thing to see how different the character is.
This was the first time we've pretty much seen the X-Men as the underdogs and the people. It seemed at the end that they weren't going to win.
Yeah,
it really, almost seemed, because I came into this very skeptic on the fact that will we see a lot of X-Men die, because that's what he seemed to do. But within the first 5 minutes, that's exactly what we got. Lots of X-Men dying in horrific ways.
I have to admit that really pissed me off. At the very beginning of the film, you see not the A-listers, but definitely some of the main characters of the X-Men get murdered. and it's all cancelled because a girl goes back in time, which I don't mind giving you a little bit of information on the plot, but it annoyed me because at the very beginning of the film, it started off with this dead emotional, serious scenes like, Jesus Christ, this film started off with this, it can only get better, and then, oh, no, that happened. It was moved. That annoyed me slightly, but another thing that really got to me, and sadly, the fact that it was a Marvel film put me off, was when Wolverine gets pinned down. He gets like metal wiring, like really thick metal wiring.
Like rods.
Through his body.
It's
rods.
It's like metal rods that hold up structures.
Bent around his body by Magneto, and then he's thrown into the water. Because when I thought that is the only way you could. Well, one of the ways you could trap Wolverine, because he's going to keep dying. Because he's drowning and he can't move because the metal's in his body, so he's stuck there. And I thought it was a really cool way, but because it was a Marvel film, all I thought was that they're gonna save him. There's no way he's gonna be there forever.
Yeah, there was a lot of points in that where they did really big emotional scenes. So it was like when he was drowning, for instance, there was all these flashbacks to all the X-Men dying like in the actual future. Well, so it was like Storm being killed and everyone, but. There was parts where they had really emotional scenes, and then you flip it straight onto it to a sort of humor comedy style. Like there's a scene when Mystique has just been shot by Magneto, and she dives out the window, and Magneto's gone after her, and then Beast has gone after him, and it's just Wolverine and Charles in a room, and Wolverine sees Stryker, and it's sort of, this is one of the things we were talking about before. You see the young Stryker, and then it shows the Stryker from Origins. It's like, so his sort of face.
It shows the original trilogy Stryker.
Does it?
It didn't show. It didn't show. It didn't show Origins one at all.
Ah, right. Anyway, I was wrong there. And and it's sort of like it messes with him, and that's when he injures Kitty, who's in the future, that's sending him back. So she's trying to keep him stable, but he's panicking, and it's sort of He starts
remembering stuff.
If you basically think about loads of different things, and if you become unstable, you might come out and it'll be hard to control you in that specific time. But he comes back and he can't remember anything, like where he is, what he's doing, and then it's like, really, what's going to happen here? Everyone's on the edge of the seat, like, is he going to remember? Is he going to flip out and kill Charles? And then Charles says to him, "You're on acid. You're on some really bad acid."
Yeah.
I thought that was just like was one of my favourite scenes.
I think my favourite non-action scene was the scene between Charles, Professor X as he was in the future, and Magneto in the future, when Magneto was blocking most of the Sentinels from the attack on the temple area that they're staying in, and he gets hit by one of the shards of the debris from the, I think it's the what did they call it? The Blackbird. The plane. I think it's Blackbird.
Maybe?
Anyway, he get all this debris from the Blackbird, and one of it actually hits him, and it seems like it's going to be a fatal wound. So he retreats back into the sanctuary, and he slumps down, defeated. And him and Charles have this sort of forgiveness moment where they both shake hands because of all the battles they have, and I felt that was a really touching moment. I almost felt like welling up there slightly.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I was like fixed onto the screen, like, no, they can't do this, those bastards. They cannot do this to me right now.
Yeah. Also, the Storm dying was quite a
that was a pretty funny moment actually for us in the cinema, because me and Taylor were sat next to each other, and then something happened in the film before Storm gets murdered.
It was Magneto getting hit by the spike.
Yeah, Magneto gets hit by the spike, and Taylor came over to me and whispered something or said something, and I was like, Taylor, watch, something big's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and I point to it, and he looks at the screen to see Storm getting stabbed and thrown over the ledge, and he's just like, what?
Yeah.
That happened really quickly though, because I literally just glanced at my phone and somebody on Instagram had liked my picture and he had a funny name. I went to show Carrie, and then he was just like, "What? No, look at this game!" I was like, "What? Oh."
Yeah, that another shocking moment was that ending as well. I was literally shocked because I could feel it coming as soon as the sound sort of lowered down and everything started going a little silent, and the camera was slowly panning as Wolverine was looking over to the side. When they revealed Jean, I at first thought they were going to just give it another, it's one of Wolverine's hallucination things again that he had in the Wolverine. But it wasn't, it was real, and then Cyclops appears. Because we that was a good moment, because you think, you think in this universe they have some sort of romance, but really Cyclops appears out of nowhere and he's like, "Oh, get off! Yeah, hold on, buddy." So we're all back to normal. It's slightly in the future as well, because there's all sort of futuristic things as well. But I also want to say
radio things that look like futuristic.
Yeah, I want to say, as we were on the topic of the Sentinels attacking the temple, we've not actually brought them up at the moment.
That's true, yeah.
Because they were one of the big highlights, because there's 2 different designs.
No, there was more than 2. I'm pretty sure, because before the film was announced officially, they had a website called Trask Industries. I'm pretty sure you can go on it right now.
Yeah.
TraskIndustries.com, and it showed a short clip of like a family walking down a beach.
Yeah.
And then the camera sort of pans out, and you look over the shoulder of a sentinel, and then his head turns, and that is a completely different fashion to the one you see in the film.
Thinking about it now, I can see the similarities between the both. I think at first it was a mix of the future Sentinels and the first version Sentinels. Because it had the glowing eye mask sort of head part, but it also had the body of the future Sentinels.
It's because the film starts off in the future, and you see the future Sentinels, which they look like really big versions of the new version of RoboCop almost, and that really annoyed me. And then I was pissed off at that. Yeah. But then when you go back in time and you see them for the first time alive, they look like the old ones, like the really massive ones, and also. They looked taller than the future tense ones as well.
The future ones around about, they look 8 to 9 foot tall, and instead of like any sort of beams coming out the hands or anything, they're sort of like they've got just a complete blank face, but that can open up to fire the beam, and they can also. The idea behind them was that Trask got a hold of Mystique's DNA. And crafted these Sentinels with that DNA so they could adapt to any situation, which is why they were able to kill all the X-Men at that point.
Yeah, which something actually.
The originals don't. They have the original.
They were just like guns.
They were just guns. They weren't the laser.
Which reminds me of something which actually sounds pretty cool, is because I always thought that now at the end of the film everything's restored and the Sentinels were never put into progress, but. Where I've just realised that the murderous ones, they never get made, the massive overpowered ones in the future, because they'd never get Mystique's blood.
Yeah.
So therefore, the ones that we do see can still be put into the films, because he still works on them whether or not they get passed or not, which is still good, because you'll get the old-fashioned ones.
No, but he gets sent away. He gets sent to prison for war crimes.
That's true. But
it shows you a newspaper thing, and it's like, no, for selling secrets, government secrets.
But then that brings into play a scene we saw, I think, in The Last Stand. It was the very opening scene where we see all of the X-Men in the future, and they seem to be battling something off-screen. Turns out it's one of the ginormous Sentinels from the cartoons, the really big purple ones. Because you see Wolverine, Colossus throws Wolverine, and he throws back a giant head that's bigger than them all. So that brings into question, what are they going to do with that? Is that a true thing, or was that just a thing they made up?
I think that was just something you put in there, just like to fill a bit of space, to show off the power of both of them.
Yeah.
I think now the final thing we should talk about X-Men is probably one of the coolest parts of the film, and it's, of course, as with any Marvel film, there's always an awesome end credit scene. Well, except for the last one. This one was, I don't know about the other X-Men end credit scenes, but this one was a really good one. It was about Apocalypse. Now I know fuck all about Apocalypse, so Taylor, take it away.
Right. I knew what was going to happen after the end credit scene before, because I was an idiot and I went on the internet and I read things.
Yeah, and you told me it as well, so I knew about it in the slight way.
I claim to fame.
It was fun seeing how they were going to show him, because in the games and in some of the comic books, Apocalypse is a big blue guy who looks like he's got wires sticking out of him here, there, and everywhere. But in this, well, basically in the end of this one, it's sort of like a small. He looks like he's about 18, 16 sort of thing. This guy stood there, he's blue, and he goes by the name En-Sabah-Nur, which is his sort of alter ego. Because that's what I read at first, the En-Sabah-Nur. And I thought, well, who's that? Googled it, Apocalypse. So this links into the next film, which has already been it's already been announced as being called something Apocalypse. But this guy is he's basically the first ever mutant.
And to put it into terms of what his power is, he's like the Magneto of everything.
Right. I've got a list here of what his abilities actually are according to the comics, right? He has molecular manipulation, and you actually see this. He's picking up all of these stone blocks, changing them shape, moving them around, and just whacking them together. And this is what is making the pyramids. Like, you can see all of these sort of people just sort of praying to him, and he's like, yeah, I can do all this shit, but he's like really calm and collected about it. Yeah, that's one of his. He has immortality, so we can understand why he was in ancient Egypt, and now he's being mentioned as probably going to be in the future. He has superhuman physical ability, teleportation, energy manipulation, technopathy. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Telepathy.
No, technopathy.
Technopathy.
Right, okay.
Just say techno dance.
I'm guessing that's like telepathy, but just with like electronics and anything technical.
Yeah, and then.
Well, no, I think it might mean telekinesis, which is like moving things.
That's telekinesis then.
Yeah, no, but
Right, here we go. Ability to manipulate technology manifests as
So,
special
yeah, I was right.
telekinetic manipulation.
Yeah.
Yep. He has physionic powers. I have no idea what that is. So
like
I'm
physics, like atoms and shit.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. And genius level intellect.
I think it's psionic. I think it's pronounced psionic.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Castle.
Just saying, because he was having
Yeah,
trouble.
he's basically going to be like fucking
OP.
unstoppable. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much like fucking craziness around this next one out.
There was also a little thing that they put in the background, which was four shadows of people on horses. Now I don't know, because you guys said after the film that it must have been just a subtle hint that this is Apocalypse.
Yeah, because there's no way that anyone would have known that. Yeah, you see four horsemen, you'd presume Apocalypse, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to continue with that, if that's going to be some sort of like his minions or something like that. But we'll have to see in what it's probably going to be called, X-Men Apocalypse, I'm guessing.
Oh, there's. I've just based in the Apocalypse sort of page. He has his team affiliation, which is the Four Horsemen.
Okay, so that was.
Yeah, right. Of course, we all know the Four Horsemen: death, famine, pestilence, war. But in this, they must have a lot of versions in the comic books, right? Underneath, they've got members, then they've got death, famine, pestilence, war, and then they've got the sort of things underneath them, right? For death, they have multiple. They've got Archangel, Galaband, I don't know who that, Wolverine, Gambit, Grim Reaper, loads of others. Then underneath war, they've got Hulk.
Yes, I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm guessing it's like over time, Apocalypse has people under his spell, I guess, or something, or people who help him, and they all have something to do with the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse.
The way I see it, the way I think it is anyway, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse are the first mutants, and it's genetic, has to be spread genetically. So, like, Hulk is a descendant of the war, so because they're the original mutants. So I see it as in that family tree is.
Well, what they basically got here, they have basically they've got how many? 5 incarnations of the Four Horsemen. The first incarnation, Hulk, is after a battle with the X-Men in the mansion. Hulk is taken by Apocalypse and becomes the 3rd incarnation of War. So what I can gather from that is that
Apocalypse
chooses who he wants.
Yeah, it's like a title. So I'm guessing Wolverine, because he's death, it's because he cannot die. He's immortal.
Yeah. Well,
and war for Hulk, obviously, because what does Hulk do?
Smash. Something you reminded me about is something the film did twice, and I thought it was really cool. Is it made our history into the Marvel universe? Now, the last one we see, the one we just spoke about, is how the Apocalypse is actually making a pyramid. Now, that could mean that it wasn't slaves that made the pyramids, but Apocalypse because he was bored.
Yeah, and also that JFK was a mutant.
No, and also the fact that JFK was assassinated by Magneto, which at first is because Magneto's a bad guy, but we learn is because Magneto tried to stop someone else doing the bullet, but he got pulled away, which ended up swerving it into his head, which I thought was really cool. I love it when superhero films bend real-life history to make it go, and because the way they always do it is it always kind of makes sense, which is especially with the JFK thing. But so anything else anyone want to talk about X-Men?
Sequel. I want to talk about that because I've just come across a page dedicated to it, which is full of interesting information.
Our designated journalist, Jack Taylor.
I'm basically the Google guy, right? The next X-Men film is a direct sequel of X-Men Days of Future Past. It's called X-Men Apocalypse. Very creative with the title.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Yeah, the film will focus on the origin of the mutants, so it'll have more of a First Class-esque thing, I'm guessing, and it'll take place in the 1980s. So it's going to be after the events of Days of Future Past in the past, in a sense.
So pretty much when the bit where Wolverine disappears off the bloody planet and we don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, well, pardon me. In this part here, they've already got a list of actors who they already know are coming back. You got James McAvoy. James McAvoy's coming back. Fassbender's coming back. Holt's coming back. Lawrence is coming back. Jennifer Lawrence. Praise be upon her.
Who's coming back? Hulk?
Holt's his name.
Holt. Is that Beast? I think that's Beast.
Yeah, probably. And Peters will reprise their roles in the sequel, while the younger versions of Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Storm will appear. I like that.
Ooh.
But I remember this now because we were talking about this recently in college. Channing Tatum will appear as Gambit.
Okay.
No, I do not like that. I do not like the sound of that.
Can we go back to the bit with Cyclops, a young Cyclops? I wonder, will they choose the Origins actor, or it's probably going to be a new one, but that'll be interesting to see if they choose the Origins actor as Cyclops.
That's a good point, actually. Surely,
I think they'll probably go with the Origins actor because, as far as I know, he wasn't famous or like in the spotlight.
He was like 15 when that film came out, so therefore now he's what, like?
Yeah, and that film was set a little bit before the 1980s, slightly. So the age difference would be close.
Right,
and we always know about ages don't really matter because you get like 30-odd-year-olds playing 12-year-olds or something crazy.
Yeah, right. So yeah, Channing Tatum, Gambit. From what I've seen of Gambit is scrawny. I say scrawny. He's like me. He's like regular build.
I would like the guy out of Origins as well. He seemed like a good, an alright Gambit.
But I'm fine with Channing Tatum because one, Tatum looks a bit like the guy from Origins. Also, they're trying to hide what happened in Origins, and I think he can pull it off, but his neck is far too big.
Yeah, what I was thinking is, as an actor, I think he'll be able to pull off the role perfectly because we've seen him in 21 Jump Street. He can act funny and sort of like a charming sort of thing like Gambit does. But physically, he's way too like swollen. If you get what I mean.
We all know people who've had like miraculous weight losses and weight gains for films, like such as Christian Bale for his Batman role.
That was a ridiculous between Batman and the Mechanist, is it? Something like that.
Yeah, and Bane as well. What's his name?
Oh God, Tom Hardy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, his change.
Yeah.
So we all know actors can change their diets very quickly and very.
Oh yeah. But something else that's just added on to it. This is my last point. Partially because it's a really funny name. In Thingy Majiggy, what's it called now? Days of Future Past. The girl who can do her portally things everywhere. Blink, yeah, that's her name. Her real name is Bing Bing.
Oh, thank God they chose Blink.
Her real name is Bing Bing, and she's confirmed that she is reprising her role as Blink.
So, hang on, what is the name of the guy who used the gun? Because I have no idea. I don't know.
His power was cool.
I was just on the bus home. I was thinking of names, and I came across Warpath for some reason.
Warpath.
Exactly.
It's a fitting name.
Because he seems like a very war kind of guy. So what's his name? It should be.
Warpath was the guy who could sense the people coming.
Really?
Yeah,
there was a guy actually called Warpath.
Yeah, he was the guy that was saying, that they're coming close to us.
Oh, I either heard that and just completely disregarded it, or I've actually just guessed that myself. Possibly the former, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google that now.
The guy with the gun who turned red when Storm and someone charged. He was like a charge thing. He needed charging.
That's cool, but shit at the same time because that means that when he's on his own, he's useless.
And without the gun, what is?
Well, no, I think the gun was
It's Bishop.
That's Bishop.
Yeah, no way.
Oh wait, yeah, Bishop. Now I remember. Is this his first time in an X-Men film?
Yeah, I think so.
I've heard of Bishop.
He was in the comics. I mean, in the cartoons.
Obviously.
I remember him now. Yeah, I've just googled the pictures of him, and I remember him in the cartoons. Oh, he was cool.
Yeah. Oh, another thing. I also like the little cameo, which I knew was coming, was the Rogue cameo, when Wolverine is in the now present.
Yeah, but the cameo that we all wanted was the Monsieur Stan Lee, and he sadly didn't appear like he hasn't in any other X-Men film.
There was one part of the film, I said this to you guys earlier, there was one part of the film like right at the very end where she walks off all like depressed, happy because the day's been saved, kind of feeling.
This is Mystique.
Don't forget that part. And she changes to a soldier. Just a random soldier we don't recognise and walks off screen. Yeah. Why couldn't she have just changed to Stan Lee?
Well, I'm guessing we might have actually missed it because after the god awful cameo in Spider-Man, which they shoved in our faces,
Which one was that?
In the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, which one was? I can't remember that one.
Where he was sitting in the crowd and they panned the camera on him for like 12 seconds.
Well, he had lines which made it.
Yeah, he also had lines. Which
he definitely didn't have lines.
I'm guessing they tried to go for a subtle way. So if we didn't see him, it's either because he wasn't in it or they tried to hide him so much that we didn't see him.
Yeah, the thing that my favorite Stan Lee appearance has to be the Amazing Spider-Man one where
the library.
Is it Reptile? I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah, Reptile.
No, it was Lizard.
Lizard.
Yeah. Lizard and Spider-Man are fine, and he's just cleaning the floor casually, as if it was nothing.
So we're cutting this under an hour, I'm guessing. Yes.
Oh well, I want to make it like an hour and a quarter. So do you mind carrying on, guys?
I'm perfectly fine with carrying on.
Right. So before we move on to the next topic I've got here, because we've already just done the first topic.
Well, just before we finish that, right? Okay. Carson, X-Men, yay or nay?
What do you mean? Did I like it?
Oh my god. Yes. What was your favourite thing about the cinema?
Oh,
No, don't be a dick. I swear to God. I will leave this conversation right now. Yay or nay about the film?
Yes, it was good. I enjoyed
Gary?
It was good. Taylor?
Me, it was amazing. Go and see it. Buy the Blu-ray. Buy the limited edition. Get an autograph.
What are you doing listening to us quack on about it? Go watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though we've just spoiled it all for you, but so what? You watched the video. There was a spoiler warning.
Before we move on to the next topic, I real quick want to say, before we leave superheroes and whatnot, what's everyone's favourite superhero? Fifth or Fox?
Wolverine.
Let's take a wild guess there.
Jack Tuberculosis Taylor?
Right, I know this is... you all said this was a weird one for me before, but my favourite superhero is Colossus.
Is that the guy that turns to metal, who literally gets ripped to shreds?
He's the guy.
Yeah, he gets killed in both senses.
In both versions.
It doesn't matter that he gets killed in both of them. One of them he gets his head kicked in, and the other one he gets torn in half. But that's not the point.
Role.
He's amazing because I remember in X-Men Legends 2 on the PSP, he was fucking amazing. He was strong as balls. He could go around killing anyone, which coincidentally happens to be X-Men Legends 2: Rise of Apocalypse, which I quite a little thing in there. And he's just an overall badass, and he was good in the Lego Movie game, which is a series that I did one episode of on my channel. Go and watch it, yeah?
Okay, so finally, Carrie, your favourite superhero.
A classic. It has to be Spider-Man, and that's purely because when
I thought we were talking about X-Men.
No, just general superhero.
Oh, right, okay.
When I was a wee boy, I remember it was my birthday, and we were out with my family, and my auntie came up to me and she handed me a freaking video.
White stuff on your face.
Oh, well, that's not fair. A videotape, that's how long ago this was, of the first Spider-Man film, and I watched it. Ever since then, I love superheroes, and Spider-Man's always been my favourite.
And then at the end, I remember that. I had it on videotape as well, and at the end of the film, after the trailer, after the credits, you had a Nickelback music video.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Okay, finally, what is your favourite supervillain? Let's just clarify, are we doing this for any supervillain?
It has to be Marvel.
Has to be Marvel, okay.
Oh god, that's hard. Are we going off of like our favourite depiction in film of a villain?
I think just any that we've seen in any sort of media.
I actually don't know. Does anyone actually know? Just so we don't have any awkward silence.
I'm gonna go with Venom. But not just Venom as in the Brock Venom, Eddie Brock. I mean as in Venom as in the symbiote when it takes over Spider-Man, because that in the comics was awesome. That was so cool.
I thought of mine, hands down, without a doubt, the one and only Loki. He's amazing. Yeah, he's funny, cocky, just like a ball of awesomeness.
Okay, and for me, it would have to be the Green Goblin. Mostly the Willem Dafoe Green Goblin,
He played that really well.
Because Willem Dafoe is absolutely bloody mental. Well, that's the Green Goblin.
Well, then the Hobgoblin, the new Goblin in Spider-Man.
Special honourable mention for the Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man 2, because he actually did look pretty good. The design was good, so...
Yeah, that's true. So,
next point! Moving on.
The next topic, we're finally leaving...
Wait, little jingle. Dun, 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 dun.
Alright. It was like more like a text tone as we ran. So, I want to speak about this because this comes out next week, the next Tuesday, because today's the 23rd. It comes out on the 27th. That's Watch Dogs. It comes out on Xbox One, PS4, PS3, 360, and Wii U. But Wii U gets a later date.
Wii U.
I want to hear your guys' opinions on it. Personally, I've pre-ordered it for Xbox One. I am very excited for it. I think it looks like probably going to be the best game on my Xbox One for me.
Well,
so what do you think?
Well, can we talk about some little funny story beforehand when it was the very first trailer, I think, and me and you were watching it, Taylor, and there's a point where he stands behind a guy at a cash machine. And he puts his hand in his pocket, and I was like, "Oh my god, look how he puts his hand in his pocket! It looks perfect." And then his hand, apropos of nothing, just glitches out of his pocket.
Yeah, it was the fact that he went, "Oh, look at it!" When he puts his hand in his pocket, the pocket like stretches out like it.
It was really good detail, and then just, of course,
the pocket disappears.
His hand just goes flying out of his pocket randomly.
That was like a few days after E3 because we were watching it in college, and they showed it off at E3.
Oh well, yeah, well. So what do you guys think? Are you excited for the game? Or are you gonna
Yes.
I am not excited one bit. I really do not care about Watch Dogs.
Well, you're not a fan of free roam games, really, are you?
No, I do like free roam games. I love GTA. Then,
don't you like Fallout and Skyrim?
No, I don't like Skyrim and I don't like Fallout.
Okay.
Christ, you know nothing. I like free roam games like Mass Effect. That's counted as a free roam game, yeah?
It's like an old one though, because you got to. There's like a loading screen between everywhere if you think about it.
Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption was amazing. I had so many fun times playing that.
Any of the Batman games? Because City's...
Yeah, Batman. I liked all of them. I've not played Origins yet though, so I want to play that. I might get it.
Yeah, I honestly don't mind people skipping Origins, to be honest. It was one of those games. It didn't matter.
If I skipped Arkham Asylum, would you kill me or something?
Oh yeah, definitely. You'd be dead. You'd be dead to me. But I personally I'm so excited for Watch Dogs. I love free roam games, and especially the fact it's got more realistic than cheesy like Saints Row has. I'm looking forward to hack and cheat. I can't wait to be able to pretend I'm smart on computers.
It looks. What I'll say is, what I'll sum it up with one word is dynamic. Yeah. It seems like everything is just very dynamic, and you'll never come across the same thing twice, in a sense. I mean, obviously you will, but like,
you won't feel
it won't feel like it.
The thing I have though, I always think is whenever a game is overhyped, I always worry. Like for example, GTA, that was really overhyped. I'm in love with that game, don't get me wrong, but I'm starting to notice, it's starting to creep in. I'm like, I see that guy a lot, that one texture. I see that car a lot when I'm driving about, and it's starting to build up on me. And I'm worried that Watch Dogs, when I play it for like a couple hours, I'll start to notice that actually the driving's a bit shit, or the aiming. That's something I always worry about on free roam, because if there's no auto aim, then the free aim on like third person can be awful.
Yeah, well, that was my thing with it as well, with the AI. Like you were saying, you would see that guy a lot in GTA. My feeling with GTA's open world thing, it was that it didn't really feel like it had life, but it didn't feel like they were really living. Like it seemed like they
weren't going out and living every day.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they had their own like roles and stuff. Like Skyrim, for example, the AI in that, they have their own roles. They go out and do their daily jobs, whereas in GTA, it just seemed like the same guy hung out outside that bar for 24 hours, 7 days a week.
There was people like walking, and the people had a destination, but once they got there, they'd just stand there.
Yeah, so like in Watch Dogs, it seems like everyone's doing something. They've all got a role that completely changes every now and then.
Then again, we're only seeing it off the trailers. In the trailers we saw of GTA, we saw people mowing the lawn and stuff, and they're there. The difference is they're always mowing the lawn.
They're always there,
they're never there, yeah. So, I mean, Watch Dogs is saying that people are always doing stuff, but we can't verify it until we see it for a long period of time.
That's what it looks like. All of this is just us speculating of what we've seen so far.
And I also find it really funny that because it nowadays most games have like a preferred console, and this one they want you to buy it on PlayStation because the thing they're trying to grab you with is saying an extra hour of content. I find that hilarious. That they're measuring the amount of the DLC on the time it takes to do. an extra hour. I mean, the game's like going to be like 20 hours long.
It's not even going to be an hour. It's like with Assassin's Creed. What's the most recent one called? Black Flag.
Black Flag.
Yeah, Black Flag. Yeah.
Yeah, Black Flag. They said, oh, if you buy the DLC for the what's the guy's game now? The vice captain of the ship.
Oh, the black guy. Oh, I had that.
No offense
Yeah,
to any
they
person
said-
of race.
Yeah, I was avoiding using that, but you oh, the black guy.
Yeah, no, well, I can't say. I'm not gonna say African American because the guy's not American.
He was Jamaican, to let you know, and he was my favourite person. Especially whenever you call a Wales and he goes, "There's a wheel on the side of the boat."
I got that DLC and it was really bad. It
Yeah,
was.
it said that they added like an extra 4 or 5 hours of content, and
I'd
as
say
far
it
as
was
I heard, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that
Yeah.
long.
Well,
I'd say it's about 4 hours.
calling back to Watch Dogs, my question is, why does it have so many special editions?
Yeah,
It has
does.
like 9.
Money.
Well,
Money makes the world go round.
the funny thing I notice is like most of them all have the same thing. It's only like one version will have a jacket, the other one
Yeah.
won't.
One of them's actually called a Vigilante edition, but there's like 4 different Vigilante items, and it doesn't actually include all 4 of them. It includes like 3.
And then something else I found really funny is on the trailer for the season pass, they advertised one of the DLCs that I assume is going to be like £2-3, is simply a suit that's like a mafia suit from like the 1940s.
A mafia one.
Mafia. I get told off
It has those
either
boots.
one by different people. And then a Tommy gun. And either that
Which they did in GTA as a
Yeah,
free
yeah.
update.
They said that that's in the season pass trailer. It's going to come out as DLC.
Oh, season passes. Ugh, get rid of them.
I pre-ordered it on Game, and it's a pre-order bonus. So I find it really funny that they're advertising, "Oh, you'll be able to get that soon." I'm like, "No, I'm getting that now, bitch." And I think we'll finish it on this topic that Carson just brought up: season passes. I mean, what's your opinion, guys? Come on.
Stupid.
It's a great way for them to say, "Oh, look, give us a sum of money, and we'll give you all the content that probably cost us nothing to make."
I think in some cases it's good. Like in Black Ops 2, in LA Noire, I thought it was perfect.
Well, LA Noire was a mint game with a
Yeah.
crazy storyline.
The way LA Noire worked was it was a new case. I think it was each month there was two new cases, which is good because it means you play the game, and because these cases weren't in direct correlation to the story, it didn't feel bad when you were playing them. So you could just have it on, and it was cool to play every twice a month. You'd have a new game to play for an hour or so, which is good.
Yeah, but the huge problem with season passes for me is that they're pretty much saying, right, pay 40 quid for our game, but we're not going to let you have all of the game. You need to pay an extra 20 quid to unlock the online stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
If you like pre-order it, no, not if you pre-order it. If you like buy it second hand or something, it's still like 30 quid or something because someone's probably used the code already.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much saying, buy our game, but don't buy our game. Buy 75% of
Buy
our game,
half
and
the
then
game and
buy
we'll give you the other
25% more if you
Yeah,
want it.
I think Forza 4 did it terribly because Forza. I bought quite a few.
I don't understand why anyone would buy DLC for fucking Forza 4. It's a car.
Well, it was new cars, and that was kind of cool. But the problem with Forza is the fact that a DLC car, no one else can see your DLC car unless they have the DLC car if they've bought the
So
DLC.
what did they
that's
see?
brilliant.
What did they see? Did
If I
they
had
just see
to-
a bunch of pixels, the
No, they
checkerboard
see
squares?
it's like it's a really big black Audi. Now it doesn't sound too bad, but it also affects the race because if they crash into the back of the black car, which is a really long and wide car, if I'm in like a tiny DLC Lotus, it doesn't affect me, but it'll affect them. So they'll be spinning off because they've crashed into my rear,
that's bad.
but they've never crashed into my rear. Yeah, exactly. And the biggest
That's
problem
what
with the season pass
packs for.
was
just-
Come on.
they said the season pass will give you all the DLC for the game. And then in June, the season pass expired, which it made sense. Everyone thought there'd be no more DLC. Then about 5 or 10 more packs came out of cars, which no one got. Like, apparently they had really low downloads because no one had the season pass anymore because it expired. So everyone assumed that they weren't DLC, that it was done with DLC.
I'm
That
just
was something that
Go
they
on.
got you with. I've only ever bought 2 season passes. One for Gears of War 3. Yeah, no, or was it Judgment? Yeah, it was Gears of
Judgment.
War 3.
It would have been Judgment.
No, it was definitely 3.
Go on.
I think it was. Anyway, I bought one of the and Borderlands 2, and Borderlands 2 did that, and it pissed me off so much. I was looking forward to it, got it on the day, played the absolute terribleness out of it. I think I'm missing one achievement on it. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not missing any achievements. I've got every achievement on it. And then they brought out the DLC pass. Okay, you get 4 DLCs, it says in it. No, free. Yeah, you get free DLCs. Oh yeah, that's a good amount of DLC. That's the same amount that Call of Duty does every year. Free DLCs, like just free DLC packs, and you have all your little micro ones.
Yeah.
Isn't there like 5 now though?
Yeah.
This is the thing that annoyed me with Borderlands. It says, oh yeah, you get your free DLC pack. Oh man, do it. After the release of the third DLC pack, about a month or two later, this is like a year now after the game had been released, because it was a long time it took them to like roll everything out. Oh, we have TK Baja's shooting range or some bollocks like that. Which was like, what? So now you want me to buy another season pass to buy more content?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've never actually bought a season pass, so that's why I'm struggling against them, because I bought Grid 2 second hand, and that has a season pass in it, and I used the 7-day trial and then have never played the online of it again. I've never once contemplated buying a season pass. I bought DLC and I bought like bundle things, don't get me wrong, they're alright, but season passes are an abomination.
I only buy season passes if it adds more campaign time to me, because I'm not a massive multiplayer fan. I'm not. I never have been, never really will be. I prefer playing campaign every minute of every day.
I'm also going to excuse myself while I tinkle.
See, I did the same. Okay. I muted my mic whilst I be rude then. To let my dad in, because I'm a good boy. But, so, are you talking about...
cares about your good boys?
Okay.
What were you saying then? Carry on.
What were you speaking about when I may have accidentally left?
I was talking about... I don't even remember now. This has gone wrong. I was talking about...
Paul, you're talking about... You always do...
campaign. Multiplayer and single. I'm a single-player guy. I like playing campaign. That's the only time I ever buy DLC packs, really, if it adds single-player content for me.
The only real game I can play single player on my own for a long period of time is Call of Duty. Any other game,
I've been playing that game for 6 months now, so I've not completed it on Varian yet. So you know.
I don't play Varian games.
Like, really, the only game that I want to get at the moment with Xbox One Season Pass is Call of Duty, but I don't play the multiplayer enough to do it. I want it for Extinction. That is it. But I can't. Bring myself to spend the money.
The way I did, I don't know if it would be the same prices now, but I have a 360 and an Xbox One, and I still use both of them quite regularly, and I also need Ghosts for both of them as well. I downloaded Ghosts on my Xbox One at Christmas, and I still don't own the 360 version until recently, and I wanted the Season Pass. Now, of course, the game's been out a long time, so I thought, how can I do this? So I thought, I'm just going to buy the Season Pass, and then later I'll buy Ghosts. I went online, and the special edition of Ghost on the 360 is £30. This, which includes the season pass. The season pass.
Oh, so that was like the special edition. You get the season pass with it.
Yeah, and the season pass transfers over to 360 and Xbox One and vice versa.
Oh,
well, it doesn't go vice versa, but it goes from 360 to Xbox One.
Yeah.
So I actually spent £2 less than buying the season pass, and I got a game. I got a little parachute bracelet thing, which I'm never going to wear, obviously, and a hard metal case. And it was £2 cheaper, and I'm glad I've done it now because now I have it on both platforms. I have the season pass, and it saved me 20 quid, which is good.
Yeah,
I'm back, by the way. Yeah. What are we talking about?
He was talking about how he got a deal.
Yeah,
getting the season.
It was
pass.
I cheated Call of Duty without them.
Oh, they're gonna get you. Activision are gonna get you.
They're gonna
this video has been flagged
for £2.
Is it Infinity Ward or Activision? Infinity Ward.
It's Infinity Ward. Well, no, Activision as well.
Sledgehammer. Those COD people.
I think actually we've got a few minutes left. I think we'll just very quickly touch on Call of Duty because.
Shouldn't we just leave that for a next video or something? Because that's quite a big topic.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea, actually. Right. So there you go.
Something that I've just been thinking about as a good way. This is you're here now with the audience. You're here with us, sort of like our thinking process, how we're going to sell. Because we only thought of this. Well, Carry on Plays thought of this today. Carry,
was it today or was it yesterday?
Today. Well,
today.
Was it really? Yesterday, because now it's midnight. So technically, it was Thursday.
Yeah. You, to put it, basically, you've been the predominant talker in this. So you've been starting the topics and getting us flowing on things.
You know it.
So you also introduced the video. A good thing we could actually do is to have a different presenter, air quotations there, in each video. So, say in the next video, Carson, Fearful Fox, comes up with the topics we're going to talk about, and he sort of suggests the questions towards us.
Yeah.
I like this. It's a good
Well,
idea.
let's make a rule not to make the topic centered to our feelings of whatever the topic is. So, like, I won't say, let's do one on Skyrim. Let's talk about the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, we'll have
No,
to make
I'm
sure.
fine with
Obviously,
doing that. But what I want to say is, let's try and keep it sort of on the down low, so we don't know what we're like. We knew what we were going to talk about going straight into this, so we all already had our thoughts and opinions. Whereas, because we talked about it before, didn't we? On the way home from this, we talked about everything. So there is things that people would have missed out on this video that is just brilliance there. So it would be good to have like sort of an initial reaction, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that where we will end it?
Well, no. Just before we go, I just want to say, guys, that if you've watched the video for an hour and 10 minutes, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That is dedication.
I'm not even sure if I'm going to cut this down into 2 parts or maybe just one full.
I'm just going to upload
because
it.
that is good. That is going to kill my upload time.
Oh, definitely same.
No,
But-
I should be fine.
I want to thank anyone that's watched this far or skipped this far if you've been a dick. But I hope you guys like this because I've wanted to do this for a while. I've kind of been inspired by Rooster Teeth podcast because they just at the end of the day just have a conversation. That's all we did, but I had bulletins to speak about, so it was a little easier than a normal conversation. But I enjoyed doing it. I think I'm going to do 5 in total before I decide whether or not I'm going to keep it. So leave in the comments if you like this and if you want to see more of it.
Also,
Make sure.
also leave
because then we have 2 rotations each.
6
Go
for 2
6, 'cause then we have 2 rotations each.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
do
oh my
6.
god, we're doing the 3-year cycle of COD. Also, leave any topics you want us to talk about in the comics, yes, in the
Comics
comments.
section.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
yeah, in the comments below for each of our channels.
And another thing I want to say, because I'm not too sure about this yet. So this is going on to your 2 videos as well, but we're all going to have our own little edit on it. So if you're really that bored, you can go and see what Fearful Fox and Jack TB Taylor did to the video. Probably going to be not much
I'm
different.
pretty much gonna bleep out different words of what they said to make it all seem dirty.
Yeah.
The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to animate it so it appears that we're basically so in this episode, each of us is going to be a different X-Men character. So I'm guessing Carson would like to be Fearful Fox would like to be Wolverine. Carry on, Post. Who would you like to be?
I'd like to be the Human Torch.
The Human Torch. That's Fantastic Four.
Whoever
Okay,
the
fine,
Torch
the
guy
who's
was.
the Human Torch in the X-Men.
Why did you call him the Human Torch? Call him Flame Guy.
Flame Guy.
Huge face.
Okay, the man light.
The man light. The
Fireman.
light. You're going to be light, and I don't know who I'm going to be. I'll improvise it and then just make their mouths move around like the Canadian South Parks.
And obviously, if you're watching this on my channel, you know how it is. It'd be just gameplay in the background. But
An hour and 12 minutes of gameplay.
yeah, it's gonna be a long game of COD. But make sure you check out everyone's channels in this video. Obviously, because we're awesome guys, except for Fearful Fox. He's an okay guy, I guess.
Yeah, he's a bit weird.
Yeah, I know.
I'd say he's not very sane.
Yeah. If you,
Oh, you'd like to not see me sane.
just look at his profile pictures. That's scared.
They
Jesus.
can't see. Oh, is that the same profile pictures you use for your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'm a sane person.
Alright,
I'll stick it up. I'll put it up when we're talking
Yeah,
about
I'm
it.
definitely gonna.
Mine's
Mine's
pretty much going to be image referrals and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's what the editing's gonna be. It's just gonna be adding loads of pictures. Like I can't wait to do the Jennifer Lawrence thing, just so I've got an excuse to Google Jennifer Lawrence. That's just, I'm gonna actually have it so it goes. Oh, when Jennifer Lawrence comes on.
The light comes in.
Just
and
a quick
beam of
5-minute
light straight
distraction for Carry On Plays.
Yeah, exactly.
It just takes like a 30-second cut out just to show a slide.
He's actually done it already in this chat. I could tell when he disappeared for a second.
Yeah, exactly. I had a quick, I had a tactical one, if you know what I'm saying. No, wink, wink. Well, anyway, guys, we have wasted an hour and 15 minutes of your time. So, thank you very much for watching. Jesus Christ, this upload's going to kill our internet. But
Apart from me, because I'm the only one who doesn't have a terrible
Shut
upload
the
speed.
hell up.
And who doesn't have a terrible computer, so my rendering's good.
Hey. We still dial on phones. It makes no reason not to dial on internet, alright?
Carry
Righto.
take us out, boy.
Thank you very much for watching, and see you later.
Bye.
comment, subscribe. Bye.
Love you.
Okay.